Well, good morning, everybody. It's fantastic to be here at the Well Pharmacy Distribution Hub in Mere Park with all of you. And it's great to be able to welcome the Prime Minister to Stoke-on-Trent. Over the last few years, we've secured huge amounts of new investment, record investment, £76 million of levelling up funding which is now delivering on sites across the city, including in Longton. The Thames work, the former Crown Pottery Works there, is being redeveloped into new residential homes. And we've also seen record funding for our buses, £31 million of new funding that we've secured, which is delivering new routes and also delivering capped fares across Stoke-on-Trent. We've also secured more money to focus on improving our stations, £40 million of Transforming Cities money, which is now focusing on improving Stoke Station, and lifts are going to be installed at Longton Station. And just round the corner here, Mere Station is going to be reopened within the next year or so. So we are making huge progress with delivering on some of those improvements. We've also secured 500 new Home Office jobs, skilled jobs that are being delivered, and thousands of new apprenticeships across North Staffordshire. We've also secured a new secondary school, which is going to be opening in September just up the road in Mere, which is going to help deliver the good school places that we need to see. We've also secured a new diagnostics hub, which is going to deliver 85,000 tests and checks every single year. And also plans have just recently been submitted to NHS England for a new integrated care hub that will deliver those healthcare services nearer to home. I've led on plans to tackle the horrific drug monkey dust. I led in Parliament action against this drug, and we've now seen a review is underway to make this drug a Class A drug, hopefully before the end of the year. But all this is under threat. We have the risk that Labour will win here. And the risk is that all of this work, the work that we've been doing together, is under threat if Labour win here. That will take us back to the time where we had decades of being ignored and forgotten. Over the last 80 years before I was elected, we had Labour representation in this city. We were forgotten and we were ignored as a city. But we can't allow that to happen. We've got to continue to deliver for this city. We've had a government that has been focused on delivering, and we've had a Prime Minister that's been focused on delivering. Rishi has said, in his own words, said Stoke-on-Trent, the great city of Stoke-on-Trent, we must deliver and continue to deliver. And I think with the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, he is the guy to do this. I led also in Parliament action to cancel HS2 across Staffordshire. And the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, he made the brave, the tough decision to cancel HS2 through Staffordshire. This saved villages like Yarnfield and Swinnerton from the destruction that was going to be caused. And it's also released billions of pounds that we can now invest locally, invest in Stoke-on-Trent and across Staffordshire in improving our bus services, improving our local rail services and fixing our roads. Those are the sorts of decisions that this Prime Minister makes, whether it's on cancelling HS2, whether it's on taking a more pragmatic approach to net zero, or whether it's on protecting livelihoods with furlough. Those are the sorts of decisions that this Prime Minister makes. So without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak.
Hello, hello. Morning, everyone. How are you doing? You all well? Good. Excellent. Look, well, you might have heard over the past few years that my mum was a pharmacist. So you can feel I'm very much at home being with all of you here this morning. So thank you for having me. Thank you, Lord Chowdhury. Thank you, Haida. Thank you, Mark, and the team. Now, I know firsthand what an incredible job pharmacies do. So you have my enormous gratitude and admiration for everything that you all do to support them, providing fantastic healthcare. And we're backing you to do even more with the Pharmacy First programme. So now, if your kid or you have a sore throat or an ear infection, you don't have to go and see your GP. You can go straight to your pharmacist and get the medicines that you need as quickly as you need them. And that is only possible making a difference to millions of people because of everything that you are doing. So a massive thank you to all of you for that. I also wanted to say a very quick thank you to Jack as well. He is a fantastic champion for all of you down in Westminster. He works his socks off for all of you, making sure there are more police officers on the streets here to keep everyone safe, getting investment, regeneration into all the high streets in the local area, and as you heard from him, making sure that we reprioritise away from HS2 to invest in the local transportation that you all need. So if you don't mind, join me in just saying a massive thank you to Everything for Jack for what he does. Right. Now, big week, I'm going to cut straight to it. I know many of you who supported us in the past have some hesitations about doing that again. I know you're frustrated with me, frustrated with our party. Hasn't been an easy few years for anybody. I get all of that. We haven't got everything right. We've made mistakes. I appreciate and hear your frustration. But when you go to the polls on Thursday, you have to remember this is not a by-election. This is a choice about who governs our country for years. And I would urge you not to sleepwalk into that. Think about what that will mean for you and your family and the impact that we'll have. Right? And in particular, if these polls are right and Labour are in power with a supermajority, you have to think about what that will mean. A government, a Labour government, unchecked. No one to hold them accountable, no one to stand up to them in Parliament, and all of the impact it would have on all of your lives. And I say this to you, if you hand Labour a blank cheque, you will not be able to get it back. So think about what that means. For all of you who care that we need to secure our borders and reduce immigration, you would have seen, those of you that watched the debate the other day, Labour do not have any answers on that question. There will be no flights to Rwanda, no deterrent of illegal migrants coming here, no cap to bring the numbers of legal migrants down. That's what you'll get with me. You won't get any of that with the Labour Party. The hotels in communities like yours that were taken over that now we're closing, all of that will be back. More of your money spent housing asylum seekers. When it comes to net zero, I made some changes because I don't think all of you on your own should be paying thousands of pounds to solve a global problem when we're already doing so much compared to other countries around the world. I don't want to force you to change your boiler, your car, your house at enormous costs to race to something in an ideological fashion ahead of everyone else. Those changes will be reversed and it will impact all of you. And crucially, you should think about what it means for your bank accounts. Because I promise you this, Labour will do what they do every single time, and that is raise your taxes. If you've seen nothing over the past few weeks, you've probably seen Keir Starmer avoid at every turn questions about what he plans to do with taxes. Right? And your taxes are going up. Mark my words, your house, your car, your pension, your savings, you name it, they will tax it. Right? So all the difficulties we've had over the past few years, the difficulties with the cost of living, none of that is going to be made any easier by all of you paying more taxes, just at the moment where things are starting to improve and you can start to feel the difference. Right? So what I'd say to you is a vote for the Conservatives is not just a vote to stop a supermajority, but it's also a vote to make sure that we will fight for you. I will fight for you. I will make sure that your voice is heard. Right? That is what this is about. And crucially, I will keep cutting your taxes. I always said when I got this job, my priority was get the economy in a good shape. We've done that now. Inflation is down, wages are rising, the economy's growing, and we started to cut all your taxes. All of you in work benefiting from a tax cut worth on average £900 this year. And if I remain as your Prime Minister on Friday, we will keep going to cut all of your taxes. You all work incredibly hard. I want you to keep more of your hard-earned money. That's what I believe, the type of country I believe in. That's how I was raised. I will keep cutting your taxes. And for those of you that want to buy your first home, we'll also cut your taxes by abolishing stamp duty for first-time buyers. For those of you that are pensioners or your parents, your grandparents, I will cut their taxes too, because people should have security in retirement. I believe in that. That's the right thing. Right? So that's what I'm about. So be in no doubt, a vote for the Conservatives is a vote to have your taxes cut and to make sure that your voice is heard. And in closing, I'll just say this. When you think about everything, right, I love our country for what it has done for my family. Right? My grandparents came here with very little, and I stand here in front of you 2 generations later with the enormous privilege of having been your Chancellor and your Prime Minister. And I will always work my socks off for you. You saw that during COVID with things like furlough, the support to get the country through an incredibly difficult time. That's who I am. And if you give me the opportunity to keep serving you, I will keep working for you, keep standing up for you, keep fighting for you. That is what I would like to do. So I hope very much that I've given you something to think about, and it's been great to have you here today and spend a bit of time with me. Thank you very much. Great pleasure. Right, so I think we're going to open it up for some questions. Who have we got? Have we got any microphones or hands in the air? Who's first? Sir.
Morning. Jansen Woodall, I'm our Business Engagement and Development Manager. You talked about funding earlier on, and coming from a pharmacy family, you can understand the importance that pharmacy has in our communities. Pharmacy First has been well received, and it's the first new funding that pharmacy has had in 5 years. However, most of that new income from doing that new service has gone on wage increases, utility bill increases, pension contributions, and we've now seen nearly 1,000 pharmacies close. So what are your plans for pharmacy funding over the next few years, as we still haven't agreed this year's funding, which should have started in April? And how can we save this vital service, as you described it in your opening statement, which Pharmacy First has demonstrated can really help citizens and the population?
Yeah. No, it goes to the heart of what I was saying at the beginning. What all of you do is so important. Right? Everyone loves their local pharmacy. That's what I did as a kid, right? I worked for my mum in her pharmacy. I worked in the dispensary, unpacking all the boxes that you send, putting those prescriptions together that you now can do up there in an automated fashion, which is brilliant. Right? I started out on my bike, riding around Southampton, delivering prescriptions to elderly patients who couldn't come in, right? That's the world that I grew up in. So I know firsthand what an extraordinary difference pharmacies can make to their community, and that's why I introduced Pharmacy First. So for these 7 common ailments, sore throats, ear infections, sinusitis, people can now go and see their pharmacy. And if I'm re-elected, I want to build on that, and we will expand that program to more conditions. There's a range of other things that pharmacists want to do, can do, chest infections being an obvious example, more blood pressure checks. So if I'm re-elected, we will expand Pharmacy First to cover more conditions and treatments, and that will come with more funding so that we can make sure people can get the care that they need as quickly as possible. That's what everyone wants, that's what all of you want to provide, and if I'm re-elected, that's what we'll deliver. Perfect. Next question. Sir.
Hi, Mitchell here. Been a pharmacist with Well for about 11 years. Like to know, how do you see the role of the pharmacist specifically evolving? In addition to Pharmacy First, what more is coming over the next 5 years, and how do you see it growing in a role?
Well, I think what you guys demonstrate here brilliantly is what we can take technology and everything to do in here frees up pharmacists' time. And then pharmacists can focus on their patients and spend more time providing that personalised service, that reassurance, that form of healthcare, which they love doing, they're qualified to do. And what you all can do here with the technology that you have is speed up time of processing, putting prescriptions together, particularly repeat prescriptions, and that's how we're going to deliver a really effective, efficient healthcare system, but one where people can get more personalised care from their pharmacist, and we can allow them to do far more. So that's my vision of what the future looks like, and ultimately, that's about patients. Right? It's about all of you not just working here, but when you get sick or your kids get sick and you want to get them the care they need, having the peace of mind that you can see your pharmacist, that most of you will live very close to and can get to easily, and very quickly get the healthcare that you need, right? So that's my vision of the sector. We've made progress, as you've seen. No one else has introduced Pharmacy First in our country ever before. I did that, and if I'm re-elected, we're going to go further and make sure we can do more of it. Excellent. Right. Who have we got next? Yes, I've got a gentleman over here at the back.
Hi, morning. Thank you. I'm Jason. I lead our digital team here, and kind of building on what Jansen's talking around funding. Spent a lot of time talking about Pharmacy First. I guess beyond that, what are you looking to do? Obviously, we've seen success in the triple lot pensions. The guys have talked about inflation and other things eating into pharmacy. What could be done to kind of help the funding of the sector and give a bit more kind of security and confidence? We've seen lots of closures.
Yeah, Jason, I do think the right thing to do is to expand the range of things that pharmacists can do, because that's what, when I talk to them, they want to do, right? We train pharmacists in a different way to we used to, right? They've got the skills to help people. It eases up pressure on GPs, and that's the right thing to do. And with those extra services comes more funding, and that means that we can provide more. But you mentioned a couple of other things, inflation, triple lock pensions, right? You know, people, I want to give people peace of mind in every way, shape or form, not just when it comes to their health, but also their financial security. And that's why continuing to cut your taxes is important, right? We have got inflation down, right? It was 11% when I got this job, right? You all remember the impact it was having on your day-to-day, week-to-week shopping, your bills. Energy bills now coming down, inflation back to normal, wages rising. We're in a much better place, and we're now cutting your taxes. So when you see your payslip at the end of every month, right, the benefit of those tax cuts every month this year are going to add up to £900 for an average worker. And if I'm re-elected, we'll go further, right, and keep cutting your taxes, because ultimately you should have more of your hard-earned money to spend on the things that you care about, right? That's what I believe, that's what I want to deliver. And the choice for you is, do you want to put that at risk? Because if I'm not standing in front of you as your Prime Minister in a week's time, right, your taxes are going to be going up. It's as simple as that. And you mentioned pensioners, right? For the first time in our country's history, under a future Labour government, pensioners are going to be paying tax on their state pension, right? A retirement tax for the first ever time. Now, I think that's wrong, right? I think if you work hard all your life, you should deserve security, dignity in retirement. You shouldn't be paying tax on your state pension. That's why we're going to introduce a triple lock plus. Raise the allowance for pensioners, make sure it keeps rising so the state pension never pays tax, right? That's not just a financial security, it's an expression of my values, right? And again, there's a clear choice at the election. With me, you'll get the triple lock plus. If Keir Starmer and Labour are in charge, for the first time in our country's history, pensioners are going to be paying tax on their state pension. It's a very straight choice, and that's not going to give anyone the financial security that they want. All right, next, we got anyone over here? I thought I saw a hand. Ah, there, sir.
Hiya. My name's Jordan. I work in the digital pharmacy. As I'm sure you've seen, the election started in France, and what is seen as the far-right group have taken a pretty increasing lead so far, and they've got a very firm stance on their immigration policy. I'm just wondering how this impacts your stance on immigration and if it changes anything at all.
Yeah. So I didn't catch your name. Was it Jordan? Yeah. Jordan, I'll just tell you, without getting into what's going on in other countries, I'll just tell you what I want to do on immigration, right, and the choice in front of you. Right? There's two types of immigration, legal and illegal. When it comes to legal migration, the numbers were just too high. Right? That's my view. Right? You may agree with that, you may disagree with that. That's what I think, and I want to bring them down. And this year, the number of visas that we've issued is down by 30%. So we're starting to bring the numbers down, clamp down on abuse of the routes, raise the amount of money that someone has to earn before they can come here legally, and it's forecast to halve. So the levels of migration in our country are forecast to halve over the next 12 months, right? That's what you'll get if I'm in charge, and I'll go further if I'm your Prime Minister. I'll make sure we have a vote every year in Parliament to set a legal cap on the number of migrants, right? So your MPs, Jack, Jonathan, everyone will vote, and we'll say we're going to guarantee that it comes down every year, right? So that's what you'll have with me on legal migration. When it comes to illegal migration, I think illegal migration is unfair, right? I think, and I say that as coming from a family of immigrants, when people jump the queue, come to our country illegally, put pressure on public services, all of you end up paying for it, the risk for our security, I think all of that is wrong, all of that is unfair. And that's why we need to take quite radical action to stop it. Now, we've got the numbers down over the past 12 months. That's what I've done while I've been in office. But in order to fully solve this problem, we have to make it clear to people that if they come to our country illegally, they simply won't get to stay, right? You just have to remove the incentive for them to come in the first place. There's not much more to it than that. That's what I believe. That's what we have to deliver. That's why, if I'm your Prime Minister, the flights will go to Rwanda. Right? And when we started that, everyone was like, gosh, what was all this about? Now, I can tell you, just last month, 15 European countries, including Italy, the Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, all agreed, and they signed a statement saying that that type of scheme has got to be part of the solution, because without that, there will always be an incentive for people to try and come here. Right? So we will break that incentive. That's how we will do it. Now, again, the choice for you on this, and those of you that saw the debate would have seen this very clearly, like, if you care about this issue, there's a very clear choice. Because not only is Keir Starmer not going to take any action on legal migration, opposed all the changes I made, he's going to cancel the Rwanda scheme. Illegal migrants will be out on our streets, in hotels. All that pressure will rise. You will end up paying for it, and we will become the soft touch of Europe when it comes to this issue. Right? I don't know if you saw the other day, they went and interviewed the illegal migrants in Calais. Right? And they asked them. And what do they all say? They all said, well, we're waiting for a Labour government and waiting for the Rwanda scheme to be cancelled, and then we're coming. Right? Because they don't want to go to Rwanda. They want to come here. Right? So that is what is going to happen if I'm not your Prime Minister. You will see the numbers go up, and we will not stop this problem. Right? And that is the choice for you. Right? I think we have got to bring the numbers of migrations down. We've got to stop the boats. Keir Starmer is someone, when he ran to be leader of the Labour Party, right, you can go and read it online, the letter he wrote, he promised to bring back free movement of people, which you all voted against when we voted to leave the EU. Right? He said he would close down detention centres for illegal migrants, and he boasted about getting migrants more welfare and benefits. Right? So that's what he believes on this issue. So if this is something that matters to you, I am the only person who's going to deliver for it. And voting for anybody else, including reform, is just going to mean that Keir Starmer ends up in number 10, and we're not going to get any progress on migration. It's as simple as that. Right, I think, have we got time for one more? Is it? Yes, go for it.
I'm a pharmacist at the Central Fulfillment, yeah. My only concern is when people have to call for an ambulance and they have to wait hours and hours. Is there anything can be done for that to improve the service on that side?
Yeah. Look, when it comes to ambulance waiting times, and generally with the NHS, one of those areas where I said right at the beginning, we haven't made as much progress as I would have liked. Right? And the one thing, in spite of the record funding we're putting in, more doctors, more nurses, innovative ways of doing things, right, we are just recovering from a pandemic where, and I'll leave you with this one figure, 6 million referrals that normally would have happened didn't happen because of the pandemic. Just think about that for a second. 6 million. Right? And obviously, all of those are coming back, right, since the pandemic's finished, right? And with the best will in the world, it's just going to take some time for that pressure to pass through the system. Now, we have made some progress on ambulance waiting times, and they are, you see them this winter compared to last winter, definitely much improved. And one of the ways we can continue to do that is by improving social care. Because there are about 10,000 people in NHS hospitals who don't need to be there. They're better off at home or in their communities, and that speeds people through the hospital quicker if they're not so busy. So we're investing more money in social care, improving the connection between social care and the hospital so that people can get discharged quicker. And what you see when that happens, it frees up space in the hospital, and it means the ambulances aren't waiting and people can get the care they need far quicker. So again, made progress. This winter compared to last winter, all the numbers are down. But we've got to stick with it, and if we can fix the social care problem, that will help enormously. Brilliant. Good. Thank you very much for having me. Great pleasure. See you later, everyone. Bye, bye, bye.